Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jackie. Earlier this year, I fell down the journal ecosystem rabbit hole in the sense that I watched one journal ecosystem and then the algorithm just kept feeding me more and more and more. I definitely got a lot of inspiration for different types of journals I wanted to add. And so over the last couple of months, I really built up my own ecosystem, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. This is my current stack of journals. I would just like to make the obvious disclaimer that you do not need this many journals. You can use as many or as few as you are comfortable with. You can do just one, you can have 5, you can have 20 for all I care. Don't let the number of journals you have define whether or not you think of yourself as a journaler. All you need is a notebook and a pen or pencil in your set. I think I'm just gonna go in approximately the order in which I started doing the type of journal that I'm showing you guys. And honestly, part of the reason why I wanted to make this video is because one of the notebooks I just started using really solidified a color scheme amongst my journals that I think will be pretty obvious after a few of them. And it just kind of tickled me, so I hope it tickles you guys too. Or not, that sounds a little weird. So the first type of journal I have is just a regular schmegular diary. This one is spiral bound, it has the little ribbon enclosure, has the dreaded notes at the front. This specific notebook was a gift I got in a Secret Santa. It was like the greatest Secret Santa gift I've ever gotten in my life. She absolutely crushed it. I don't use this one as often as I used to write in my diaries. I started keeping a diary in 7th grade and I used to be really on top of it, but sometime in high school I started falling off with it. I would definitely like to get back to a point of writing every day though. But yeah, this is basically just a log of things that have happened to me in the time since I last wrote. If I need to work through something emotionally, that would go in here as well. Basically, when you think of a diary, that's what this is for me. Next one that got added into the ecosystem was my junk journal. I used to bullet journal, but I kind of fell off with that in college. I wasn't really doing it anymore. And I started to really miss the creative aspect of a bullet journal. So I started junk journaling because I figured that would kind of scratch the same itch. And for the most part, I think it has. I don't use this as often as I would maybe like to, just because I find that lately I haven't been going out into the world and collecting as much junk lately. But I'll just show you a couple of my favorite spreads so you can get an idea of what I do. So this one, for example, this was the first Valentine's Day that I spent with my boyfriend. We went on a day trip to Thomasville. So this was just some of the ephemera that I gathered throughout that day, and I made this little collage. This was when I went to Weeki And I will say, personally, I know people online kind of debate the meaning of junk journal because some people use it to be candy wrappers and fortune cookie fortunes and other stuff like that. And other people will use very cutesy, very aesthetic scrapbook papers and stickers. I definitely incorporate outside craft materials. This is scrapbook paper, this is from a sticker book, but I try to primarily make my spreads around ephemera that I gathered in my day-to-day life. So this is a map of the park. This sticker and this sticker both came from the gift shop. And then obviously I wrote some things, I used some stamps, stuff like that. I really try to use outside craft materials as more of a supplement. And then this is a marching chief spread I did. That came off of a palm. I literally found this on the floor and I put it in my junk journal. That to me is junk journaling. I'm not the journal police. I'm not gonna come after you if you use junk journal to refer to what I would call an art journal with just scrapbook paper and stickers, but that's how I use my junk journal personally. The next thing I started doing, and this was part of the journal ecosystem rehaul, I started doing around June, July-ish. I started doing morning pages, and this specific notebook, if anyone was wondering what notebook I use for this, it's the Leuchtturm 1917. You actually can't see that at all. I swear it says that right there. It's a fine notebook. I don't know that I would repurchase it again, but that's another topic. Anyways, this one, it's a piece of Taylor Swift merch, if you could not tell by the All Too Well in big letters on the front. Morning pages, the idea is that you write 3 pages, stream of consciousness, first thing in the morning or as close to being the first thing in the morning as possible. I'm not sure if I really like morning pages all that much. I'm gonna give it another go, but honestly I feel like once I complete like this notebook, I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this, or at least not in the way that I'm currently doing. Another thing that I've been doing with my morning pages is I've been trying to learn tarot recently. I got a deck when I was about 16 years old and I never took the time to really learn it and learn the meaning of the cards. So what I do now is I'll draw a card of the day and I will write down what card it was and what its meaning is. And then at the end of the night, if I feel like the card showed up somehow in my day, I'll do a little reflection about that. I don't necessarily feel like the card is like a prediction as much as maybe like a positive or negative omen of something that may or may not happen. For an example of this, in one of my recent morning pages, I got the Three of Pentacles, which is a lot about like hard work, diligence, teamwork. There's a lot about building your current set of skills to get to your future success. And so at the end of the day, I was like, okay, like how did this maybe show up? Well, I closed that night with someone who I don't get to work with as much these days, and I feel like we really bring out like the best worker in each other. So I really felt that like hard work that came out in the card. And then to tie back to the whole color scheme thing, like this is the back of my tarot cards, and it pretty much matches this notebook perfectly. And my wall. Can you guys tell I have a favorite color? The next one I added was this little pocket notebook. I'll link the shop that I got this from on Etsy in the description. This is an A5 trifold. This one is faux leather, it's not real leather. Mostly just because the real leather ones are kind of expensive and I wanted to try a more inexpensive version before I committed to investing in something that's going to be a bit more high quality down the road. I've never really had a smaller notebook like this. I'm not a big fan of super small notebooks, so I wasn't sure how much I would really be using it. I would say I'm doing pretty well so far. I put some of my own charms to decorate it. This was from an old Percy Jackson necklace. So this is like an owl meant to represent like Annabeth and Athena. And then on the back is Percy Jackson's sword. This also came from an old necklace I had ever since I was a kid, and that was just a charm from like Michael's or something. You open it up. I used to have a paperclip holding this Polaroid of me and my boyfriend to the cover, but I have seemingly lost that paperclip, which is not ideal, but I'll find it or get a new one. I don't have a pen loop, but I kind of stick one right here, and if you just like tuck the cover around it tightly, like you will not have a problem with it falling out. This one just came in an Owl Crate box. It's Song of Achilles themed, and it says, I feel like I could eat the world raw. So as for the individual notebooks in here, I got this one from Florida Cavern State Park. And so this is going to be my little adventure notebook. I'm not entirely sure what will qualify as an adventure, but I just wrote about when we went to Florida Cavern State Park, like the things that we did, what we would like to try and do next time, and then a couple of like notes and fun facts I would like to remember. And then I have what I call my tasting journal. So I have a habit of trying new things, but then I won't remember if I like that new thing or not. So if I'm getting a cocktail somewhere around town, or I also have a list of different Bulldog flavors in here, I'll make a note of it and I'll give a rating out of 10. So then I can like remember, you know, did I even like this? Then I have my commonplace journal. I find that I don't really go back to things that I save digitally unless it's something super easy to scroll through like a Pinterest board, because it's so organized. I can just like go to my different like quotes or affirmations or aesthetic or cute outfit sections. I don't really do that for things like my camera roll. So sometimes I'll take a picture of something I really like in a museum and then I never think about it again. So I wanted to start one so I could remember some of these quotes that I were coming across. So I have some different quotes I like in here. I have just some pleasant memories that I might not necessarily want to do a whole thing about in like my journal, but I still want to think about it. I have a list of different journaling practices that I would like to try. I put like my Arcana number in here because where else would it go? And then I have like sort of a running wish list, and just some other fun things like that. So I feel like if you get those TikToks that are like the web weaving with the like really sad, beautiful quotes and poetry with like paintings and sculptures and stuff, I think that this would be a great way to catalog some of those quotes that you're seeing if you find that, like me, you don't really go through like your camera roll as much. I have my dream journal. I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory, but basically if I remember my dream well enough, I will jot it down in here. I would like to start learning more about the meaning of different dreams, but I'll start that soon. My friend gave me a book about it and I haven't started it yet, but I will soon. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the most recent addition to my ecosystem. This is the Papier Productivity Planner. It says start fresh every day. I have mixed feelings about this. I don't hate planners, but I just find that pre-formatted ones that you're meant to fill in on your own, I tend to do them for like a week or two and then just completely drop the habit. So far, it's been about like 2 weeks and I'm still doing pretty good at, using it and staying on top of it. This one in specific is meant for like goal setting and productivity. So it has sections in the front that I've only done some of them, like, what distracts you versus what motivates you. It has a goals section, so I did like a brain dump of different things I want to try. And then for the goals themselves, you have start date, end date, summarize the goal, why, what does success look like, a checklist of things that you need to do to complete it, a midway check-in, a little progress bar, and then this other page is just completely notes. The way I've been using this section, I've been really inspired by this one creator. I believe the username is Mia's Digital Diary. Again, I'll try and link her in the description down below if I remember. But basically this year, instead of setting New Year's resolutions, she set different experiments for like creativity and mindfulness and like kind of like that kind of realm. So 30-ish day experiments to see what sticks, what actually makes a difference in her like well-being, focus, creativity, and all that. And so I was really inspired by that. So that's how I'm going to use this goal breakdown. So I only have the one filled in since I haven't finished this experiment yet. When September starts, I'll do the second and then the third. Then you have the monthly overviews. I don't really have anything going on in my life. So you can see that like the literal only thing I filled in was my dad's 50th birthday. Then there's going to be a weekly planning. Again, I don't really have a lot going on in my life. I do really like the habit tracker, and I like that you can set your weekly priorities and then other things to do. But like this section just feels very unnecessary to me. And then you have your daily sections. So it has, you can fill in the hours yourself, so you can pick whatever window of time makes sense to you. You do your 3 priorities, other things to do. I've been using this notes section as a gratitude log, and then there's a little reflection thing where you can fill in like however many bubbles out of 5 and then take some notes. So like for this one, I said my day was a 3.5 out of 5, and I was like, work was a lot better than last night, but I slacked a lot when I got home because I didn't do a lot towards some of my habits I'm trying to build. I don't hate this planner or anything, but it's giving me a lot of ideas of what I do and don't like in a planner. Since I started using this, I have honestly been thinking about maybe going back to bullet journaling, because there's just certain things that I would want in a planner that I don't know if I'm gonna get on one that just comes right off the market. So I think getting a blank notebook and making my own would basically be the way to do it, and at that point, may as well just call it a bullet journal. So for example, I really like the Hobonichi weekly spread that they do. Instead of having your week set up like this, it's horizontal and it has all the hours in a day. And I just feel like, especially where I am in life, that would make so much more sense. Like, I work a minimum wage food job, so when I go to work, it's like I'm here at work from here to here. It's not like, oh, like I'm gonna be working between these hours, but from this time to this time, I'll respond to emails, and then this time to this time, I'll make this presentation. Like, I'm just working. I'm making food, I'm giving it out, I'm taking orders, I'm giving them their order. So that's not very useful for me right now. When I need to plan, I want to look at my week as a whole, not on a day-to-day basis, so I can see like, oh, this is when I work this time to this time, this is when I work this time to this time, this is my free day, let's plan something for here. That's what I would find useful. I do really like the little reflections at the end of the day, and there's also a weekly reflection at the end of the week. But like I said, just the dailies leave a lot to be desired for me. That is my journal ecosystem. These are my babies. If you guys have any more specific questions about how I use any of these notebooks, feel free to comment them. I also don't remember if I mentioned this, but I think I am going to make a separate video fully about morning pages and what I do and don't like about them, so keep an eye out for that. That's all I have for you guys today. Obviously, if you like the video, like the video. Feel free to talk about some of your own journals in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys have going on. See if maybe there's something I'd love to add to my ecosystem. Anyways, subscribe if you want to see more videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.